Hi guys, when Sir John Curtice speaks, both politicians and political commentators should sit up and listen. John pointed to two massive hits for the Conservatives before the recent election, which cost them dearly with voters. Boris Johnson's Partygate scandal and Liz Truss's mini-budget. Both impacted the Tories in similar ways, a 6% drop in support. Now when it comes to Labour, there are two obvious truths. The party won because the Conservatives were a disaster, and Keir Starmer never was very popular. Now there's a current drop in support for Labour, and Sir John explains why.
And then you have to ask yourself, well, what's the problem here? Well, the problem here, I think, is that what the last few weeks have revealed is that some of the weaknesses that probably underlay those relatively poor ratings for Sir Keir Starmer before the election have also now been exposed very clearly afterwards. Weakness number one is that he does find it difficult to lay out a narrative or to do the vision thing, to give a sense of direction as to where his party's going to go. In the election, it was about change. It was, at the beginning of this conference, change begins. Well, now apparently change has begun. Now, to give him credit in his speech today, I think he got himself a strap line, which is Britain belongs to you. The question is whether or not he laid out enough in that to begin to generate a deal of excitement about his premiership, because in many respects, the speech today was about, well, I'm going to provide you stable government. Yes, you're going to be a bit better off. The public services are going to work, but it wasn't necessarily there with the tone of excitement. But we'll have to see. Point one is, anyway, so far, not a popular politician. Surprise, surprise. As Prime Minister, he's not a popular politician. Number two is his political antennae are not always adequately sharp. And we've seen that after the election in the way they failed to pick up quickly enough the fact that the various gifts of hospitality and clothes, etc., whatever the rules say, were not going to be a good look, particularly given, of course, the Labour Party fairly mercilessly attacked the Conservative government for allegations of sleaze when they were in opposition.
Well said. So there are two main points here. Of course, and I've mentioned this before the general election, there was no vision. Labour were saying, we're talking about change, and they understood that the public wanted change, but they were not presenting some long-term vision. And I think this is, unless they sort this out soon, this is going to be a massive problem. And as Sir John Curtice has pointed out, this is one of the reasons why support for Labour has dropped. You know, you need to tell the public, this is the final destination. This is where we're going to be in a few years' time. There's pain, there's suffering at the moment, but there's a reason for that, because you're going to have sunlit uplands, or you're going to have a land of milk and honey or something like that after. You need to be able to say, there's pain at the moment, but there's a reason for it. And the reason for it is what you're going to achieve at the end of this. So they have to be laying out as clear as possible what that goal is. But at the moment there isn't. It's more, we're going to stabilize things, we're going to make things a little bit better, we're going to probably fund public services, so we're going to rebuild things, but you need to have a clear vision, and that's lacking. Now the other point, of course, was the political antennae. He's not on the ball when it comes to issues that are affecting ordinary people and how that's been played out in the media and in politics. The freebies, for example. I've said he should have said no to those things. He should be surrounded by people who are telling him, just say no. He could clear this up by putting a ban in place on freebies, on gifts. You know, I think you should go down the road of completely banning donations to political parties, but I don't see that happening. But at least for all MPs, introduce legislation, introduce a bill, introduce something, a rule to ban freebies for politicians. I know it's going to upset a lot of people in Parliament, but this is going to cost the Labour Party, at least in the short term. Now, Sir John Curtice is somebody who knows his stuff. I had believed that maybe the freebies thing was going to be a problem for a while and then disappear or go away. But if he's saying it's going to be a problem, then it's probably going to be a problem for a long time. But there are easy ways out of this. So first, create a vision. Get some people around together in a room, come up with an image that you want to present to the public, a vision for the public that will show the direction of traffic. This is what we want to achieve. This is where we want to be in 2-3 years' time. And when it comes to freebies, just say no. That has to be the message to all MPs in the Labour Party at least, but all MPs in Parliament as well. Just say no. Because even if it's within the rules, as been pointed out, it's the optics. People are not happy to see politicians receiving free things because they look around them and say, I'm not getting free stuff. These people are supposed to be representing us. And who are they actually working for? Even if the freebies are not coming with strings attached, the perception people have is that this is corruption. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.